Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Raconteurs News on this Sunday evening. It's a Sunday. We don't normally do a Sunday service, but we have done it today because we wanted to accommodate our guests. And so we're 24 hours early with the Monday show, shall we call it? But it's Monday where our guest is. As usual, my co-host is Aid Hardy. Good evening to you, Aid. How you doing, my old mate?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Thanks. Very good.
Have you had a good day?
No, both my teams are losing. Well, one's losing and one's already lost. So.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll leave that there then. We don't want
to... turns to shite at Christmas. Do you know what I mean?
we don't want to exacerbate your heartbreak.
No.
Shall we say? Anyway, we've got our guest this evening. Now, we had quite a response when we had Max Egan on last week, and there were many people saying, you want to get this guy on, you need to get this guy on. I didn't know, I've got to say, I didn't know when people said his name, but when I did hear his voice, subsequently after I'd done the show, then and I looked at one of his videos and I instantly recognized it. So good morning to you, Peekay, and thanks very much for joining us on Raconteurs News. How are you doing?
Yeah, good morning. Like I said, I've just woken up. It's 7 a.m. in the morning. It's usually it's middle of February, usually the hottest month of the year here in Melbourne, but you wouldn't think so. If you went outside, it feels like winter. But we're constantly told it's above average temperatures. And I can go on. I'm pretty big with my channel regards to global warming, climate change garbage. But funny enough, if you ever watch my videos, and somehow it doesn't matter what video I make, YouTube seems to connect a link down the bottom, linking to global warming, Wikipedia site. So, you know, that's how bad things are. But anyway, yeah, I'm good. Sorry, I had to change the show from 24 hours to now because I actually got something happening tomorrow. So, yeah, thanks for having me on, guys.
Pleasure. Jason, can I just give a bit of sort of background to this, just in case there's people listening who weren't listening the other night?
You go for it, mate.
Yeah, we had Max Egan on, and he was talking about his experiences over the past few weeks. And we were aware that he was about to go to Acapulco for an Acapulco, which ended up not happening. Anyway, during that show, people were putting up questions in the chat room, etc., and we were asking quite a few of them of Max. And there was one that kept being repeated, but it mentioned something about Peekay. Jason and I at that point weren't aware of Peekay, weren't aware of anything that was going on at all. There were just words on a screen, didn't mean a damn thing to us. So I just copied and pasted that question into the private chat of the system that we use. And Max immediately read it, then read it out, and then he responded. And what he said in the chat room, what he said made people in the chat room then say, what about getting Peekay on? Surely he's got a right to reply, blah, blah, blah. And this is where we find ourselves right now. So I think what Jason's going to do, he's going to read the bit, he's going to play the bit from the show the other night, and he's going to read, Max is going to read the question that was in the chat room, and then he's going to respond. I can't remember how long the response is, but it's not.
If it was not too long, we'll turn it off.
It's quite a lot. Yeah. So,
yeah.
Anyway.
So, this is the clip. This is the clip from the show that AD is referring to.
Yeah.
If it'll start. Do you know, my YouTube just keeps not starting for like ages, so it might just take a couple of minutes, just a couple of seconds.
Here we go.
That's the way we get the street.
There's a question there that's been sent to me. Misha would like to an explanation from Max why I ban people. I ban people who insult me. If you come and you call me a shill and you call me an agent, I'm just going to ban you and tell you to go get a life, go to another channel. You're not here to discuss anything. And why I won't discuss New Zealand with Peekay on this stream, please. Peekay was a friend of mine on Skype for a long time. And he tried to convince me, like every time there was a shooting, he tried to tell me it was fake. And I'd look at it and I'd go, I can't call it on this. It's a bad phone footage, low video compression. I can't call it. When he couldn't get me to start promoting the concept that all shootings were fake, he started bad-mouthing me for about a year behind my back. And then he attacks and insults, and he's made hate videos about me and all sorts of stuff. Peekay doesn't want the truth. Peekay just wants to be right. That's all he wants. Peekay is only interested in promoting the concept that all shootings are fake. He is absolute confirmation bias, and he is a nasty, horrible, toxic little man. He has sent so much hatred my way. He has trolled my channels. He has encouraged other people to troll my channels, and they are not open to discussion. All they are there to do is promote hatred and to push the divide and conquer agenda. Peekay also was ringing up nurses and abusing them in hospitals in Melbourne here, and made the mainstream news when there was I think it was a totally staged attack in Melbourne. There was a car driving around. There was a so-called terror attack a couple of years ago. Peekay was calling it all out as fake, which it probably was, but he was also ringing up and abusing nurses and telling them that they're having fake victims in hospitals and stuff, and recording and posting them on YouTube. He made the mainstream media and gave the independent media in Australia a very bad name, made us all look like nuts, conspiracy theorists. And he has been so horrible and nasty and insulting and
I think we've just about that's just about the top and bottom of it. I think it continues along that line, and we'll listen to that a little bit more if you really need to. How would you respond to that? What's your response to what Max said there?
Have you got 2 hours?
Yes.
Yes, we have. Yes.
And if you want to start by giving us some background or however you want to go about it.
Just before I go, Robbo Max is in the chat. Do you know Robbo Max?
No, don't know Robbo Max. Good evening to you, though, Robbo.
He apparently knows someone there that runs the show, but anyway, he's a great man. Where do I start? I'll start with asking you a question. What got you to bring on Max Egan and Vinny Eastwood together in the show?
Well, I'll tell you what. I'd before this even had happened, before the whole thing with Max happened, I'd sent him an invitation and said, "Do you want to come on the show?" I'd also done the same with Vinny Eastwood. Now, the week Max had got back in touch with me, and we organised it for the day. And then a couple of days early before the show, Vinny Eastwood got in touch with me, and I said, "Well, why don't you come on with Max?" Because I just thought that having Vinny and Max on from down under, it would be it'd work well together. So that's what I figured.
You realise they work together?
Didn't, but
Well, I'll just tell you straight off the bat. I'll get on to Mr. Egan. It's not even his real name, but I just want to say a few words on this piece of garbage called Vinny Eastwood. He claims he doesn't know me. Look, I'm not Alex Jones or anything, but anyone that's been watching videos or doing stuff in the truth in the last 8 years really should know who I am, especially in Australia where there aren't many people that do what I do. But he obviously looks in the mirror too much. I've never known a more self-egotistical piece of garbage than this Eastwood guy. Anyone that watches his stuff or listens to him, get a life. Someone that laughs at himself all the time, thinks he's funny, he's the most unfunny person ever. But anyway, I'll just tell you straight out, he was set up for this years ago for the Christchurch thing. And he's another one that's given false information about Christchurch, just like Egan. I'll get on to Egan now. I have not scripted anything here. I haven't written down any notes or anything, and I just heard that what you played there. I've watched it before, but I didn't jot any notes. I just want to go point by point on that. But I'll tell you a bit about Mr. Egan. 6 years ago, I can't remember, I idolised this guy. I mean, I started doing this YouTube stuff even before I did the YouTube stuff, I used to watch Alex Jones like we all did. We all brought in watching Alex Jones, but somehow Max Egan, don't know who pointed out, could have been my son. I thought fantastic, an Aussie guy doing this, wow, you know. So somehow I contacted him, and we got to be together on Skype. And as he said before, we were sort of friends. When I say friends, we've never met each other. But like I said, I idolised the guy. I used to watch his shows. Actually, I didn't watch his shows. I used to just record them, tape them, and put them on DVD. I had about 20 odd DVDs with about 6 shows on each, which in a podcast about 3 or 4 months ago, I showed where I put them in the bin and I've thrown them out because, you know, I don't want to, you know, no point watching rubbish. But how am I going to go here? We got on fine for what, 3-4 years. I actually had him on my show 3 or 4 times. He sucked me in big time. Like he has 206,000 subscribers. Whether they're real or not, don't know. But he's got this trance-like way of talking on his shows. I wouldn't say he's Mr. Smooth or anything, but the way he introduces himself, like folks and ladies and gentlemen, folks and brother, you know, that's a real smart way of him, you know, getting people on his side. And he sucked me in. And there's nothing worse than being lied to, as you know. That's why we're all on here, because the lies we've been told to. But this went on for a few years. Yeah, we'd talk on Skype quite often. And where we mentioned there about, I used to always point out shootings and that. Hardly ever talk to him about anything like that. I don't know what is going on there. We just talked about life in general, to be honest, because he had his way of doing things completely different to what I did. I was what you might term a hoax buster, in a way. I'd look at things and point out all the ridiculousness of how these people, these events are supposedly, you know, shootings and what have you, are real, and I'd expose them. He was more into just making videos talking about this and that. Like he waffles on all the time, repeats himself. But like I said, he fools everyone. Cutting this short, it came. I just mentioned a few things for a certain event. There was a comment someone made, I don't know, 3 years ago, 3-4 years ago, on my video, referring to him as Dickie. Someone's told me, we believe his name's Richard, but he's making this big deal out of not giving out his name, even though, I don't know if you followed his shit a couple of weeks ago during these fire videos he made, where he supposedly got hit by a white light. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
It's absolutely ridiculous, but he said something, look, I'm going to tell you what my real name is, stay tuned sort of thing. Like, you know, that's how he sucks people in. But it's never come out. Like, I couldn't give a stuff what his real name is, to be honest. But this comment said, well, where's the 50,000 or something to that effect that you owe me, Dickie Jones or Smith? I cannot remember what the name was. And I talked to him on Skype. I asked him about it on Skype, and he just, you know, jokingly said, don't worry about it. It's no big deal. And he did mention, he used to take drugs and used to be an alcoholic. And so I just believed him, didn't worry about it. But obviously this comment was true. There were other things that I wasn't, you know, right there, I didn't think anything about it. But then a few things happened. There was supposed that he came up with this bullshit story. Sorry if I use that term, bullshit. Is that all right?
That's
Peekay,
fine.
say what the fuck you like.
I won't get any worse than that. He supposedly, he told me in a conversation that he got beat up by some big dude, some big Israeli agent leaving a seminar. And I thought, geez, that was a bit weird. You know, didn't make a big deal out of it. Says, it wasn't. I don't know. I just walked in and he beat me up, and you know, he was a big guy, and he just says, "Oh, don't talk about the Jews or something like that. Really, you know. But it was okay. He went next night to the seminar, so that was a bit strange. Then we saw this photo of him laying in bed, supposedly being him, but it looks photoshopped as anything. I don't know what that was all about. And I started, getting second thoughts about this guy. So skip all that. All right, this is important. You didn't play this part. He mentioned something about trying to help me with my prostate cancer problem. Well, I got diagnosed with prostate cancer. It was August 2017. And at that point, I started talking to him more than ever. Because as you know, he's into cannabis and all that good stuff, supposedly. And he told me he can get me, some cannabis oil to help me out, but it's going to be quite an expense, like, I don't know, $5,000. A lot of money. I really couldn't afford it, but that I would have got it somehow. And he told me how to take and all this, and we went through all this. But when it came to the point where I had to decide on treatment, which was radiation, which I went through in November, one of the biggest mistakes I've ever made in my life, but that's another issue. Right at that point, or just before, I actually tried to contact him, but I think he was overseas. No, that's right. He was in America visiting someone, like he always seems to go around, gallivanting around the world. For someone that doesn't work, never has worked, doesn't get Social Security, according to him, seems to do a lot of trips around the world. I mean, I'm lucky to, go for a holiday in Melbourne, let alone go anywhere around the world like he does. But, that's one big, red flag that people should realise that, something's going on with this guy. He just doesn't, go around the world unless someone's paying for it. And it's definitely not just good people around the world that are going to accommodate him.
It must cost a lot of money to fly from Australia to Mexico and then to be put up, and to live.
Yeah, but I'm sure they'll have some kind of, we can't call it a wage, but like a compensation thing. Bring us your receipts and we'll pay them. Surely that's why people paid to go to it.
I asked him how we did this. From what I remember, he said, he's got a lot of good friends everywhere that pay for his fare and accommodation. I thought, Jesus, I've got a lot of friends.
Yeah, I've got a lot of mates, but fucking
no one's asked me to ever come around, but anyway. So at that point, which was October 17 was when Las Vegas happened. I'll just get onto that. But when I contacted him about trying to get this cannabis oil, he said, look, I'm overseas at the moment and my contact, I've lost contact with or something like that, and sorry, I can't help you. So, all right, don't worry about it. So I think because of that, I actually went through the radiation in November. But go back a month, you can donate to RN. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's all right.
I'm not Vinny Eastwood. I don't post on here, donate to me, please.
No, well, you see, we only post that every for about 10 seconds every hour. Just
that's right.
We sometimes.
Peekay, let me explain. We've never ever monetized the YouTube channel and don't intend to.
Yeah,
Jason and I are certainly not here to make any money. I'm lucky that I can afford to do the bits and bobs that I need to do myself. Jason, because of his physical, medical stuff and etc., in that position, he's still waiting for lifts to be fitted and all sorts since having his leg amputated. So we just flash that up, and it's just so that Jason can keep running just with the bits of computers and stuff like that he needs to do.
Yeah, that's fine. But just like I mentioned, Vinny Eastwood, that's all he's all about. Just off the subject, I got a comment last week saying this guy's unsubscribed from Vinny Eastwood, but he's still got an email from Vinny Eastwood asking for donations because he wanted to buy a car. Anyway, enough of that.
Buy a car?
Yeah, it's honestly. Get back to it. I don't want to lose track of thought here. October 17 was when Las Vegas happened, okay?
Yeah.
This is a month before my radiation was due. This is when the big alarm bell started ringing with Mr. Egan. Like I said, as you know, he doesn't go out. He doesn't talk about shootings or, as he termed them, false flags, which the real term should be hoaxes. A hoax is where it's completely staged and no one dies. They have crisis actors. He doesn't make videos like that. Come Las Vegas, I met through Robbo Max a hell of a nice guy in Sweden he's got a channel called 138. And he was the king of Las Vegas. He was making fantastic videos and really funny. He was brilliant. Things he was pointing out. 100% another staged event, like a 64-year-old climbed up, 31 stories with, 10 rifles without security spotting him, and absolute garbage, smashing out a window and shooting from 100 yards away and hitting people twice in the chest, absolute idiocy. But Max Egan claimed it was real because there was one bit of footage showing these idiots on the ground and someone supposedly flashing a light, which looked like it could have been a shot. And he says, there's a shooting, it's real. He was on the opinion, there could be crisis actors, but, there was someone else actually killing people. No, sorry. You can't have crisis actors as well as a real shooting. Once there's a crisis actor or there's any staging involved, the whole thing is staged. But this is about the only time I really, talked to him about. I sent him, links to 138's videos, but he kept ignoring them. He kept ignoring, didn't want to talk about them. I'll just mention what he said before, how for 3 or 4 years I was attacking him. And this is only going back, 2 years, but there's still no attacks on this guy. And he called me, he said that I call all shootings fake. That's his terminology. All shootings fake. What sort of garbage is that? Because I don't know if you know, a few years ago, they come up with this term auto hoaxer to belittle anyone that, made videos about these staged events. That was their term, auto hoaxer.
Right.
I'd rather be an auto hoaxer than an auto believer, okay? But to say that I call every shooting as fake, and this is coming from the mouth of someone so respected as this Egan guy, it's absolute rubbish. There are 1,000 shootings probably a day around the world. How many videos have I made on shootings in the last 5 years? Probably a dozen. So I don't call every shooting a hoax. It's the ones that they spew on the TV for 24/7 for 3 or 4 days. Then there's something going wrong. But anyway, and he comes up with this garbage about I'm anti-truth. And he stated something about I'm only here, to be right, and I'm not here for the truth. What sort of shit is that? I mean, my history, I don't know if you know, I'll explain it. The Boston Marathon, you heard what happened there, guys?
Yeah, we know about the Boston Marathon, yeah.
Yeah, well, I call it the Boston Hoaxathon Firecracker. I spent years making nearly 200 videos on that. I had a channel called Peekay Boston. I was probably, surely number one in the world exposing that. And, I've woken up thousands and thousands, hopefully, millions of people to that. I had my channel sitting there for 3 years, hardly put a video up for a year. Then all of a sudden, within one night, they terminated my channel. And this is when the real censorship started a couple of years ago. So for me to spend all that time making those videos, and I'm anti-truth, not only that, I've spent 8 years making videos of just about every subject. So just getting off the track here. Las Vegas, this is where the alarm bell started ringing. He's, like I said, he said, "Oh, come on, PK, not all shootings are false flags or hoaxes. People do die. Oh, come on. I said, what's going on here? So I asked him politely, how about you did a debate with Robbo Max and 138? And his reply to me, no, not interested because I know you're going to insult me. So where does he get this me insulting him when I've never insulted him before and I wasn't even going to be on the debate? And as I told you guys, I did 3 or 4 podcasts with this guy, and every time at the start I'd say, what a fantastic guy. I actually even nominated him for Australian of the Year award. Can you believe? I think it was 216 or 217. So when he didn't want to do a debate, well, what's going on here? He actually said to me, he was staying with a friend in California, Las Vegas, somewhere, I don't know. He said that the guy he was staying with's brother and partner were at the concert in Las Vegas and that she was shot. She was injured in hospital. I said, all right, well, how about you go visit the hospital, make a video. I want you to, put it up on your channel, show everyone her injuries, who this person was. He didn't do anything like that. He just ignored it. So we let that go, and a few things were said, and I said, I told him I deleted him from Skype. I didn't want anything to do with this guy. And where he said, I'm just trying to think of what he said, where I trolled his channel. I don't troll anyone's channel. I don't have sock accounts. I have my channel, which is Peekay Censored, or I've had 8 channels removed in 7 years, 8 channels. So I've just used that name for the channel I've got. This guy, I'd swear, just going back a few weeks, there was some guy called Zoddy, something I think it's called Zoddy, come out of nowhere. And if you look at the channel, it had no subscribers, was created, God knows when, supposedly from Indonesia. And yet this guy is making all these comments, knowing all about my discussions with Max all these years and knew everything about me and making word for word sound exactly like Egan. Who is this guy? It's obviously him under another name because they'd sort of take turns at commenting. So he's the one that's trolling my channel. It's the last thing I want to do. So I know I'm going from there to there, but I stopped contact with him for like a year. So 2018 went, and then 2019, as we know, March the 15th, 20th, 15th, Christchurch happened. And this is where I believe Vinnie Eastwood, because New Zealand hadn't been in any of these staged events. As you know, we got Australia, Britain, America, France, Germany, and New Zealand. No one knows where New Zealand is. It's just on the east coast of Australia. Like, we don't even care about them, but they exist. We knew something was going to happen in New Zealand. They planned this Christchurch thing for God knows how long. So an event was going to happen. And I believe Vinnie Eastwood was the man that they set up for this, as well as Max Egan on the Australian side of things. So what happened, all of a sudden, Max Egan, when Christchurch happened, is going on talking about how he went frame by frame by frame, like what a frame is, a second, every second, through this 17-minute bullshit, I call it the PlayStation, commando game shooting. If you want me to get into more detail of Christchurch, I will. I'm thinking, what the hell? Since when does Max Egan so all of a sudden change his style of making videos to, exposing whether this is real or what? And he pointed out a few things, which the obvious things with the red man. And like I said, if you want to go into more detail. But then he was saying how the event was real, how this guy was a trained assassin. I'm thinking, are you kidding me? What's this guy on about? So the same shit as Las Vegas. He's saying that shooting was real. I'm telling everyone now, I'm telling you guys now, that shooting was pre-recorded weeks or months before and was pretended to be shown live on Facebook that morning where it wasn't. All right? I'll tell you right now, So
Okay.
we'll get into that. Let me finish with Egan. So I made a comment on this video he made. I called him out to be a shill. I've had enough of this guy, you know. I called him straight out. And then out of nowhere, I read these comments out the other night on my video. I still got his comments on Skype where he came on and he, you know, tried to talk to me, or not talk to me, debate me or argue with me about why I call him a shill. And I'll tell you how ridiculous this guy is. Virtually the second comment says, "You're a cop, aren't you?" He thinks I'm a cop. The last thing I'd ever be. I can't stomach the thought of, you know, a cop, the sight of a cop, let alone being one. And he believes I'm a cop because this is how smart this guy is. I've got a couple of photos of me. I do a bit of extras work, you know, background acting, where I was a cop. Sorry, hang on. Sorry, everyone.
That's Max and Vinny just ringing Peekay, just asking if he's all right.
Probably that guy, Sam. So, I don't know. Yeah, there's a couple of photos of me dressed up as a cop. And so, yeah, he thinks I'm a cop. He actually got on a show with a guy that used to hang around with us, exposing me as a cop and all this garbage, that I'm a shill and all this stuff. And I'm thinking, what? So, and the other thing, sorry, I'm going around in circles, but
Don't worry.
he said, in that thing, said the Burke Street event, which I'm hugely involved with. I got arrested for it. Hardly anyone who's, you know, made anything about it. I know for a fact, 100%, I'll go to my grave that event never happened. No car went down Burke Street. We've never seen any footage of it. It's been 3 years, and no car will never be seen going there because it didn't happen. I followed this 100%. I went to the fake court and the trials and what have you, and made so many videos which I can't put up there because I've been threatened. I've been silenced. I've got, you know, cops coming, knocking on my door, shining lights through my windows. I'm going, you know, through a bad time. Not now, but I did a couple of years ago. I've got so much I could put out there, but I can't. One day I will. But he claimed that I was ringing up abusing nurses. I mean, freaking, what is this idiot talking about? What happened? 10 days after the event, the star of the show, this woman who supposedly had a daughter dying and her other daughter who was supposedly injured, 10 metres from where they were supposed to go in, we call the RACV Club, the Royal Automobile Chamber of Victoria or something like that, whatever. 10 metres from the door entrance, they'd come all the way from that outside of Melbourne, 10 metres away, they got hit, the three of them, by a car, supposedly, which 3 blocks down started his supposed, you know, carnage, and they couldn't hear any screaming or shouting or cop sirens, and yet 3 of them were supposedly hit. One flew 50 metres, the mother flew 15 metres, and the young one didn't even budge. Absolute fake garbage. Anyone could see it if they were fair and researching. So apparently the mother was in a coma in a hospital, Royal Women's Hospital, for 5 days with critical injuries. And she woke up supposedly 3 a.m. the Tuesday morning, 6 hours before her daughter's funeral, which she didn't attend, supposedly. I made a phone call to the hospital 5 days later, which was 10 days after the event, just asking for visiting hours so I can send flowers. And you could tell by the woman on the phone that didn't want to pass me on to the ward where she was. They asked for my name. I said my name was Peter. That's all I gave them. Initially, they said, no, she's out of hospital. She's out of hospital after being in a coma for 5 days and in critical condition, out of hospital in 10 days. Can you believe that? But now in rehabilitation. It's funny, when I went to the court, they actually said in the court at the trial that this woman was in hospital for over a month. So that's how much they lied and what a lot of garbage this is. So they put me onto the rehab hospital. Took me forever to try to get in there. The same thing. All I wanted to know was visiting hours and for flowers. They put me onto the woman who ran the ward. She virtually said straight off, sorry, she's blocked anyone from visiting her and making calls. I mean, who blocks anyone from visiting you when you're in hospital? And she demanded what my surname was. And I said, look, I've told you my name. And she virtually within seconds insulted me, said, tell me your surname or hanging up on you. And she did. And right at that time, I just threw out a few words. Oh, she's a fraud. She's a fraud. Hung up. I put this video on YouTube. From that, I got arrested. Long story, I don't want to get into that. But this Max Egan is going about telling everyone that I'm ringing around, insulting nurses. That's the way he's put it. You heard it.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know about the Burke Street I might have had, but that's his research. A huge event like that, I don't know, a car went down and, terrorist and all this, even though they said it wasn't a terrorist attack, but that's the shit that comes out of this guy's mouth. So that's just one thing I wanted to cover. So we argued over the Christchurch thing. I lost contact with him after those few Skype messages. Then I said, I am just going to make a video on this. I'm going to spend 2 months as much as I can. I didn't want to spend that long, which it did take me 2 months. I made a 12-hour video. If people want to see it, because as you know, you cannot post anything of Christchurch on social media. You cannot. I put up a photograph of the supposed shooter pointing a rifle down the pavement where it shot 27 rounds at some person 60 metres away. How ridiculous is that, just to think about it, when he could have been inside or at the backyard where there's 300 people supposedly hiding under cars, which he never even went around, but he wants to spend 27 bullets on one guy running down the pavement. I put a still photo of a 10-second video and I got a strike on YouTube because of it, which ended up making me lose my channel. So you cannot put anything on Christchurch. We'll talk about it in more detail after this. But I said, I'm going to make this video. So I didn't make any comments to Max Egan or anyone. He was going to everyone around the world, you guys, you name it, telling his bullshit stories, telling this, and this, and this. But I said, I'll just wait till this finishes and I'm going to debate this guy. Anyway, like I said, it took me 2 months, 12 hours. I could have spent, there's a lot more I wanted to put on, but I couldn't make it any longer. People said, 12 hours, man, God. Anyway, when I finished the 12-hour video, I got a few people, including a great friend of mine who passed away last week, Woodrow Wobbles. Do you know of him?
I wasn't aware of him, but I did see your video about him, and I did speak to somebody about him today. So I was aware of him, and he just passed away. Yeah. Yeah,
great man. He was just one of a few who, did a lot of great work. His funeral's this Friday. Anyway, he made a few comments to Egan because I didn't want to go in and make comments. Are you going to debate Peekay? Because one of the videos that Woodrow made, Egan stated in a comment, I will debate anyone, anytime on Christchurch, and I will, destroy whoever, blah, blah, anyone. That was his words. Soon as people asked for him to debate me, he came up with all this crap. Oh, that I'm irrelevant, and all I've been doing was abusing him. Because you know why? Because this guy didn't realise that someone was going to expose him. After all these years, with all these people, me included, thinking that he was the Messiah, or as he calls himself, the chosen one, he did not think anyone was going to expose him to be what he is. I'm not going to call him a government shill. I don't know what he is, but he's not working for the good. He's on the dark side. So this went on and on. He, comment after comment. No, this guy's irrelevant. He's anti-truth and all this shit that he's been saying about me. So that just died off. And then the fire thing came a couple of weeks ago. So let's just recall what happened there. Sorry, I've lost my train of thought. Yeah, I don't know if you saw his videos where when he made these fire videos. Yeah, he said a lot of stuff. It was right. The government lit those fires, but he didn't talk too much out that the real cause of them were the chemtrail spraying. And he said, they were like what they spray is like, sets off sparklers. Now, there's more to it than that. What they've been spraying for years is virtually pouring heavy metals onto virtually the whole country. And as soon as they light a match, whoosh, fires like never before. I can get onto that subject as well about the bushfires if you want. But all of a sudden, after making this video really going off about the government, like F you and all this, we're going to get you, 3 days later, he comes up with a 10-second video. Oh, the earth is flat. You're aware of this, aren't you guys?
Yeah. It was 6.4 seconds.
What the fuck? The earth is flat. Not a mention. Then he made another one straight after it, going on about he got this bolt of lightning and he's downloading and I'm okay, and he's flashing that hand, the swastika. You saw that?
Yep.
I think
And so it's not the fires anymore. It's all about this shit about getting a bolt, and it's all about sympathy and bullshit. And like I said, he mentioned about his name. Like I couldn't give a stuff about his name, but anyway, sorry. Then that went on. Then
I'll tell you what. What struck me. Sorry, PK. I'll tell you what struck me about the second video in particular was that at the very beginning of it, he said something that I thought were very telling. He said, "I got your attention."
Yes, exactly. That I thought the same thing. And trying to, what did he mention there? Actually, what he mentioned on your show, we'll just skip forward, about the Acapulco, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Another gallivanting trip around the world. He started off your show without showing his face, correct? Remember that?
Yep.
Never does he do that. Then he started going on about his broken leg. What a lot of shit. Broken leg. He mentioned about 2 broken bones and the top body wasn't sure, then 2 fractures and this and this and this, because he slipped down a stairway or a couple of steps to take off the washing. The guy only wears one jacket. He sleeps in his jacket. He goes around the world in his jacket, and he's probably only got 1 pair of clothes. So what's he doing taking out washing, especially when he says it's there's floods outside his place and it's raining. So you take it off your washing and you're walking down steps and you slip. No, when you slip and you lose your footing, you fall on your back or your hand, or you might break your wrist. But no, you're not going to break any bones in your foot by slipping. I played football and I twisted around. I didn't break my bones. I tore all my ligaments. But this garbage, he didn't want to show his face on camera, because you guys would have said, "Oh, come on, Max, lift your leg up and show us."
We did.
Or,
we did.
What did he show?
He lifted his left leg up and it got one of them, like a Velcro fastening black boot thing on.
Oh, he never can put that shit on. Yeah, all right. So he's saying he's going to wait a week to put pins in it. Oh, bullshit. You got to put pins in virtually straight away. So anyway, I don't know what that shit is about. They probably said, "Oh, no, you're not going to Archipelago because whatever. Too many people are questioning why he's going around the world." I don't know why he's not going to that. But then the other one, was that on your show or his video where he said 6 hard drives were hacked a year ago? Never mentioned that a year ago. Who the hell has 6 hard drives all connected at once? You might have 1 or 2 in your main box, but, external drives all connected at the same time. And how do you hack into 6 hard drives? And what's he got on 6 hard drives? Freaking hell. I've got 1 and a backup, and I've got heaps of stuff. So what's all that about? More sympathy. He just wants all this bullshit sympathy and people that feel sorry for him. So was that on your show or was that on his video?
That was his video, I think, that second thing.
I think that was his video, wasn't it? Yeah.
So all in all, you cannot trust this guy.
I've got to say, PK, I one of my regrets is that I didn't push him hard enough when we spoke about his broken ankle, because he lives in a remote part of Australia. So, I wanted to, afterwards, I sort of thought about say, asking him, how long were you waiting? Did you ring for an ambulance, and how long did ambulance take? And I wish I'd pushed him a little bit more on that.
I mean, people have got broken legs and feet. They still get on a plane and go to wherever they want. It's not like you're going to, be running around. But anyway, what perfect timing. There's a reason, for him to cop out of it. But, sorry, train of thought.
No, you're okay. Just take a breath. It's fine.
Fine. How long have we been going? Well, I do want to get more into Christchurch if you want. But, yeah, exactly. I made a video about this. This guy created his YouTube channel in October 2008. Vinny Eastwood, October 2009. It's not a coincidence. They have not had their channel removed. If you were the powers that be, whatever, that were threatened by supposed truth that's waking people up, would you attack someone like me who had the maximum of 22,000 on one channel? Would you worry about it attacking me with 3,000 subscribers on my channel now and remove my channel? Or would you attack Max Egan, who's got 206,000 subscribers, who's supposedly making all these, fantastic videos calling out on the government and all that? Come on. Who's the shill here? 11 years without having your channel removed? Not only me, there were so many little channels that I know have been, terminated over the years, but these guys are untouchable. Untouchable. And they're like the Alex Jones, the David Ikes, the Ollie Damagards. You could put the whole five together. Alex Jones, Ollie Damagard, David Icke, another guy I thought was an absolute legend. I've even gone to see 3 of his shows. Vinny Eastwood and Max Egan. The big guys, I firmly believe they were all put in years ago, knowing this truth movement was going to come out to get all huge following, to do their work, tell us what we're going to find out anyway, but lead us the wrong way. Lead us the wrong way when the vital truth has to come out. So, sorry, that's just off the top of my head. If there's anything else you want to ask me about this guy?
I just want to put people a bit straight from what I've been reading in the chat room. Roberto Rhymes says this show's just clickbait. Because Max ain't here to defend himself. Well, I just want to explain again. The other night, Max was on. A question was asked in the chat room about Peekay. Max chose to read the questionnaire and answer it. And there were I wouldn't say it was an attack on Peekay. I would say it was a very strong opinion, a negative one about Peekay that came from Max. So, yes, Max had a strong view about Peekay, and Peekay was not there to defend himself. So tonight we have Peekay with us, and you're right, Max isn't here to defend himself. We at no point tried to organise a debate. That's not how it happened. Tonight is about letting Peekay have his say about anything, about us reading questions to Peekay that you've posed. And I want...
Anyway.
Oh, what's she reading?
My wife said tomato ketchup for some reason. I don't know why. She's behind this green screen here.
Robert Max sent me a comment saying I missed out on Max's challenge. Or did I? I thought I mentioned that how... Robert Max, make a comment here. I'm not sure what you mean by that. I did read out how he challenged anyone to debate him. And
yeah, you did. Yeah.
We did. He called me everything under the sun. But anyway, I don't want anything to do with this guy. I'm sick to death. People are saying, "Oh, why are you attacking this guy? Why are you attacking this guy? He's the chosen one." I mean, come on. I mean, I just want the truth. We all want the truth, and I don't want this guy lying. Well, he's lied to me, but he's lying to everyone, and he has for how many years? I mean, he's a disease as far as I'm concerned, and if I can remove him, all the better. I mean, there's a chance I might be wrong, but I doubt it very much. But people are saying, he's probably having alcohol problems or drug problems. No, he's fully with his wits. He knows what he's talking about. You know, I'm telling you, the videos he makes, they're not made by him. You know. I just want to point out something. Yeah, I forgot.
Go on, yeah.
Something about me making a video of him supposedly plagiarizing someone. Well, what happened there is someone pointed me out to a video from some guy that's hardly got any subs, and he compared his talking with another guy, a European-sounding guy, saying virtually the same thing. And I thought, oh, shit, you know. I mirrored the video, thinking, well, you know, he's copied this guy. And it turned out this guy, what's his name? The last relevant sage or something like that. It's turned out they're both working together as well, because with this last relevant sage, he came on in comments and absolutely, not only me, but others absolutely swore and insulted him like a real pig, saying all these things. And I thought, what? So they're obviously working together, and Egan's saying, oh, no, you know, Peekay's put this video out saying I plagiarised this when it was, you know, actually 6 months later. God knows, you know, how can you have the same words together? I mean, it's obviously off a script. So that's just another lot of shit that he brought up about me. But anyway.
It's good to see you not sitting on the fence, and that's really what we wanted tonight.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, really, seriously, you know, Max said what he said. We've given Peekay a chance to come back. I mean, what I'd like to do is read out a couple of more questions from the chat room and then go on to some. We'll put that to bed and then go on to some other subjects if you want, Peekay, unless Jason's got anything else he wants to chip with.
No, I think he's told us everything about. He's answered all the questions, you know, that perhaps maybe somebody would have. So yeah, it'd be interesting to talk about some other subjects as well, like Christchurch and what have you. So yeah, go on, Ed.
I just want to make one comment, which I thought about while Peekay was talking fairly near the beginning, and you said that one of the things that Max does on his videos, he says things like "folks," and when Jason's the one responsible for me waking up. And of course, you know what it's like when you first stick your head in. I was video after video after everything. And I remember saying to Jason, I want to listen to this Max guy, but I can't. I since have, but I can't because he says things like folks and ladies and gentlemen. And the first thing anybody ever said to me when I put a microphone in my hand was, you always talk to one person. You know, if you're driving down the M1, if you're on the high street and it's flooded, and that's generally what. So when I got somebody with quite a high profile who's got so many followers, and I was clicking on his videos, and he's there saying things like "folks" and "ladies and gentlemen," it was all a bit kind of, I don't know. It just made me not able to listen to it. I have since. And that's the only negative comment that I ever had. But I just think it's great to get two sides, both sides of a situation. That's all. And thanks for doing that, Peekay.
Yeah, hang on, guys. You're right about that. And I mentioned a guy, Ollie Demigard. Do you know anything about him?
Yeah.
He's been on this show.
He has. He's been on here, yeah.
You get all the shows, don't you?
Yeah, we can get you on, and me.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the king show. Hang on. I just want to find something. Yeah, he sucked me in as well. I thought he was a great guy. You know, he obviously works for vegan as well. But I'll tell you something about him. He started off some sort of sequence of shows. I think it was early last year. He wanted to get so-called truthers on. He got me on. I've never spoken to the guy before, and he introduced me right at the start as his friend, my friend Peekay. I'm thinking, hang on, I've never even spoken to you. What do you mean, friend? Exactly like Egan. That's to get, you know, sort of attached to him. Gets the audience attached, thinking, oh, you know.
Yeah. It's an NLP, isn't it?
Exactly. That's it. Hang on, I'm trying to find. You keep talking, guys.
I'm just saying it's familiarity, isn't it? It's being familiar with people.
I mean, it's like a sales thing with the NLP. They'll say things like, well, most of my customers have just upped their hairs to make sure they're fully covered. And they go, oh, well, if in their head, well, if most of you, and it's just it's an NLP drawing, isn't it? That's all it is.
Yeah, but that's not. I mean, we're not saying that Max is doing that as an LLP thing.
No, not at all. Not at all.
But what we're saying is, it does make you wonder. This, folks, and particularly Vinny as well. Vinny's ladies and gentlemen, and
Yeah, but maybe that's what they do in Australian TV, and I don't know. I honestly I don't know. But equally, you shouldn't try and name the listener or mention dear listener. And there was somebody who used to be on Radio 2, some old fart years ago, and he used to say, "Good morning, dear listener."
Terry Wong, I think, he used to do it.
No, the one before him.
Oh, you mean fucking what's his name? Richie
Who?
Richie Allen.
No.
But
What do
he
you
does,
think of him? Sorry, what do you think of Richie Allen?
don't like it. Well, not very much, really.
All right, David Icke.
Again,
I think my thing with these guys is, why are they still alive?
Alive?
Yeah.
What,
My only thing with, say, David Icke is, he's probably got the biggest profile because of how he came out, if you like. And because of who he was prior to his shell suit days. And so he's got now a big following. He's filling stadiums, apparently. And I don't know how many subscribers he's got. I don't know how many people visit his website or how many people buy his books. But if you said to most people in a pub, have you heard of David Icke? For one reason or another, if they were over 30, they probably would. So why is he still alive? Why has he not been suicided?
Well,
And that's my only doubt, I guess. But
do you think if they killed him, that'll wake up, a millionfold, and people say, "Well, shit,"
or is it just a case of, a lot of people still think that David Icke was completely bananas. So if he's saying it, they're encouraging people to, because it'll make their majority, if you like, even more convinced. Just because David Icke's the one who's saying it.
Yeah, well, people say, "Oh, you're going to get killed if you talk out." And do these people really die, or is it just made up to scare the fuck out of people not to talk? I don't know.
Oh, that was another one that came out of the chat room just before we got to Christchurch. I think it was Webby asked, would we ask Peekay what his opinion on Romley Stewart? I don't know what Romley Stewart or who Romley Stewart is. I'm just reading words on a screen.
My opinion?
Yeah.
You want my opinion?
Yep.
Who the fuck's Romley Stewart?
That's what I thought when I read it.
Well, okay. Next question.
Next question. Okay, you wanted to get on to Christchurch.
Yeah, look, I'm just trying to get. Robbo he made a comment on the channel this morning listing about 8 things about Christchurch and what Egan said, and I thought I had it sitting there ready to show you guys and read it out, but I can't find it, and I've just sent him a message. Where is that comment that you made? But anyway, you probably sent it to me. Okay.
To you for coming on, PK, and we'll have you on again. Not a problem at all. I'm sure you.
We'll have you on again. Certainly sounds like your opinions are almost as blunt as mine about most fucking subjects.
No, just quickly, I'm not a shit stirrer. I'm not here to cause trouble. People are saying, "Oh, you're only attacking Egan because you want views and subscribers and you want the attention." I don't want any of that shit. I'm past that. I gave up doing this when my main channel, PK Truth, and I said, "That's it." But I'm just doing little things here and there. I can't put up videos about shootings and hoaxes and that. I just do subtle, things. I don't even put titles anymore. I don't even use the word hoax because you can't. But this shit. If I want to attract subscribers from Egan, I'd suck up to him and get 206,000 of his followers to follow me. You'd think that's what I'd do if I had any brains. By attacking him, all I'm getting is all his 200,000 brain dead minions to attack me. Do you think I want that? No. I'm here, like he says, I'm not an auto hoaxer. I'm not here because I think I'm right. I'm wrong lots of times. I'm just a normal person who's got an opinion and just, state what I think. And if I believe that this guy's, saying the wrong thing, I'll say it. Yeah. I don't hold back, mate. And I'm putting my life at risk. Of course I am. Who knows? I'm sure they listen to my phone calls. And
we've had a couple of people ask, can you please tell them how they can watch your stuff? Where can they go to?
Well, come over to my place. I've got 200 and something videos sitting here. But my channel is Peekay Censored, for one of it. That's 2 words. I've used all different names. I've used PK Far Q, PK Far Cough, PK Far Canal, just as a joke. They didn't last long, but I thought Censored was why not use another name? I always use PK in it in case my old followers could find me. Otherwise, I wouldn't know who I was. I'm still getting people now. Oh, I haven't seen you for 2 years. Where you been? Sort of, I've got stuff there. Like I said, put some old stuff there. Nothing like it used to be. Nothing on Boston. Nothing on Burke Street. Nothing on Fort Lauderdale. Nothing on France, Paris. Nothing. I like to put it up there. I like to have my own website, but I haven't got anywhere.
Is there anywhere that people can go? Is there an archive people can go to for that stuff?
No, there isn't. A lot of my stuff's on 153 News or Net, whatever, which I never went on. There's someone there called Peekay that's putting my stuff there. Can you believe that 153 Net is banned in Australia? So I can't even get on there if I wanted to unless I use a VPN, which I don't. They forced Jason, who runs 153, all to do with the Christchurch thing, knowing that I was doing my stuff. I closed up Australia, if you don't mind. I mean, how bad is that? So there's stuff there. There's stuff all over the place, but, I don't know. There's one guy actually got 167 of my videos on YouTube, and he's virtually got 0 views, but he's put my stuff from years ago. I found that the other, not long ago. So, people should not only just me, if they like people's content, videos, mirror it, put it on their own channel. Even if they're small, people are still going to find it.